Ciao, everyone.
Elvis is in the building.
Barbara Walters is in the house.
I like Elvis better. You know, like Elvis is in the building.
Elvis
is in the building.
Ciao, I'm Esther.
Hi, folks. How are you today?
This is Alfred, and we're two expats living in Sicily, and we come to you every week talking about all things Sicilian. And also, I don't know if you're new to this channel, but we've got over now 75 or 80 videos from all over Sicily. Literally, we zigzag the island, right?
Zig, 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 zig. Yep, and we zag, 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 zag too today.
No, those are part of our ancestral home series that we've had so much fun.
We've been working at it for quite a while.
So we're going to talk to you today about some of our favorite places to live in Sicily, right? But first, a couple of things that we want to talk about, right?
Yeah, we have. Don't you have a whole list of stuff?
I've got a whole list.
Well, let's go, baby. Let's move it.
So if you're watching this on Saturday, it is, what is it, the 30th? On the 31st, we're going to know if Sicily goes from red zone. By the way, it's the only region in Italy that's in red to orange zone. So a little bit more freedom, right? It's been about 2 weeks we've been in the red.
Orange, Roy G. Biv. Does anybody know what Roy G. Biv is? That's the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, we just stay in the house. Or at least I stay in the house. I send her out to do all the shopping.
It's fun, though. So let's see.
What pandemic?
So another big thing that's happening next week is the Festival of San Agata. And if you are in Catania, she is your saint, right, Alfred?
Wait a minute. They're going to cancel the darn thing, aren't they?
Well, they're going to have a version. They're going to live stream
a private celebration.
Did you guys know that the Festival of San Agata is the third largest religious celebration in the world? Cool
now what they're going to do on a 5-block area around Catania, the Piazza Duomo, they're going to put a red zone there.
Yeah.
Right? So guess what? You can't go there. It's crazy.
But they are concerned that the devotees, the heart and soul of the San Agata followers will go to somewhere just for the chance to get a glimpse of her. And by the way, folks, we did an entire episode on the Festival of San Agata. I have to tell you, been to many festivals here in Sicily, but by far, that is the most incredible.
Claustrophobic.
It is, but you have to know what time to go, but also the most religious enthusiast I've ever seen in any festival.
If you don't know anything about Agatha, you ought to, Google her.
Or watch our video episode.
Watch our video episode. And if you're a Christian or a Catholic, pray to her. I pray to her every single day. Her and Santa Rosalie, the patron saint of Palermo. Also.
Or the two big ones. All right, let's say hello. Jim Ingram, glad you joined us. Good morning. Sue and Joe are here with their espresso and are looking forward to this chat. Hey, what's Mama cooking for us is a new follower. She's got a great YouTube channel, right?
She does a lot of cooking. I've been watching her on Facebook. I'll tell you, a few times I was going to grab my hat and coat and go over there and have dinner with her.
So glad she's here. Good morning, B and Dawn. Thank you so much for your recent donation to our GoFundMe. And if you don't know what the GoFundMe is, I left you a link in the comments below, and it's basically the way that we continue bringing all these programming to you.
For you new folks, you have to understand that the money that we get for sponsors and GoFundMe picks up about 25% of our cost, maybe 30%. But we now have, besides this video chat, we have our regular programming to do. And we launched very successfully, too, I may add, her news from Italy and Sicily every night. So since the COVID issue has been cooking, she spends 2 hours a night prepping all those numbers for you, writing that column. And we had to buy a little bit more equipment, get more software. So whatever money you
little by little.
Yeah. I mean, it's appreciated.
Helen Comasso is here from Ontario, Canada. Hello, Enzo. We've got Thomas Catone. Hey, Pat Greeley's in the house. That's great. Alessandro Gennaro is in Palermo, and What's Mama Cookie says, okay, thank you. Stop over anytime. Okay, sounds good. All right, so
what's up for
I
today?
want to ask you, okay, so we're going to talk about some of our favorite places to live here in Sicily. Now, let me just be clear that the list that I'm going to make is without any preferences. You know, it's not going to be my first one is my favorite. But I want to ask you before we start, Alfred, what are some of the criteria that you use when finding a place to live in Sicily?
Okay. I don't think that you can make a list, Esther, of like the 10 hot places in Sicily. Why? Because what might be hot to me is not hot to you, or what might be hot to you might not be hot to me. I'm thinking about living here. I mean, for you, living here. And there's a lot of criteria. Now, what I did on my little list was I took out the three major urban centers of Palermo, Catania, and Messina, okay? Those are urban areas, just like living in a city anyplace else. If you like living in cities, then one of those three are great. Perhaps Siracusa, which is a little bit smaller, is great as well. But for my thinking, I didn't want to talk about that. All we ever do is talk about.
But what are some of the criteria? Okay, so let me give you an example of my criteria. Okay, I want to be near the ocean.
Okay.
Preferably walking. Mm-hmm. I want to be near the airport, no more than 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to have a lot of culture around me. And by culture, I mean, I want to be able to go to a concert, a classical concert. You know, I grew up in playing the cello, having all classical music always in my house. I grew up going to classical concerts. Those are some of the important things. For me, natural reserves, a place to go for a walk, a place, open in nature. Those are some of the things. And also, just because of the nature of our works, if you guys don't know this, but normally we also do tours of Sicily. So I'd like to be near, preferably within an hour and a half of some of the main sites.
My reason for wanting to do this program is not for me, but for you. I already live here. But some people, you have to make a list of what you what you like. Now, for example, do you have kids? Well, I think a good school system may be a criteria. I think you ought to examine the school systems. I think also if you have any type of an illness, what's the proximity to a hospital? And one good thing about living in an urban area like Palermo or Catania is they have good hospitals there. If you go into the hinterlands, however, that's a completely different type of life, okay? It's rural, okay? Which means, God forbid, if something that could happen to you, and you're going to get transported by an ambulance to a hospital, it may be 40 minutes away or 50 minutes away, etc. Okay, and the same thing with the schools. The further you get into those hinterlands, the level of instructions, in my view, falls off.
Yes.
So it's, what are you looking for?
So that's why you have to make a list. Like I have my list, and you probably had your list. And so some of the lists that we're going to talk about, some of the places meet my criteria.
Okay, we're going to go back and forth like a tennis ball? Or?
Yeah, so I'm going to start out.
What's the glass today, Jim? Can you see it, Jimmy? This is a fine Venetian grappa. It's called Frantia.
It's from a Chardonnay.
It's a Chardonnay. It's made from the white grape. Very unusual, very smooth. So this is what I'm having with my stogie today.
Okay, so I'm going to start out with Castellamare del Golfo in the province of Trapani. Yeah. For me, Castellamare del Golfo not only is incredibly scenic, it's got the marina, it's got the beautiful view of the Gulf, it's by the sea. It is 25 minutes from the airport. There's Lo Zingaro, there's Scopello, natural reserves over there. We've got San Vito Lo Capo, not far away on one side, to the west, and to the east is Palermo. So it's positioned nicely for me, and it's a great place for the downtown to be able to walk. So that's one of the cities that I would choose besides here. Now, let me just tell you guys, folks, that we live outside of Catania on the foothills of Mount Etna, and I love and prefer this area more than any other.
So that's numbers 1 and 2 you gave.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you gave numbers 1. She gave numbers 1 and number 2. All right. So I think my favorite area, other than where I live, because where I live is my favorite area.
So you're doing 1 and 2 too?
No, this is my number 1 here. Okay, I've lived here for many years. If I didn't live here, I lived a mile away, because I selected this area because it has everything that I needed, from the beautiful mountain ocean view to the mountain view. Right behind this is Etna. To beautiful restaurants, and Aci Trezza, Aci Castello, Aci Reale is very close by. Catania is literally the next town over. It's still a 20-minute drive to get into downtown Catania. So for me, this was perfect. But the one area I think is underrated myself is I think the area, and it's up and coming area, is Ragusa. I think Ragusa.
Funny you should say that.
What?
Helen Kimaskos.
Yeah,
so
Helen.
What do you think of renting near Ragusa?
I think Ragusa is an up and coming area. Ibla to me is spectacular to go visit. I mean, the old part that was destroyed, but the area around there too is a beautiful area. I happen to know some people who are in the medical field over there. They're top-notch professionals. They're building an airport. I understand they're expanding the airport over there, and the tourism is good. The Marina di Ragusa, that's the Ragusa, of course, on the beach.
Very underrated.
It's a beautiful beach.
Yeah.
It's white sand, nice sandy sands, good restaurants over there. So I think that'll be my first choice other than where I'm living.
Yeah, and it's it's one of those cities. It's over 4,000 years old, and you can see remnants of the beautiful Baroque structure. So that's definitely a good one. Okay. What's Mama Cooking says, I have 3 great-grandparents for Sicily, Spadafora and Venetico, and another from up north in Loro Piceno near Rome in the Marche region. Okay. Jim, okay, now that would be a site. Al in a tutu.
A tutu?
A tutu. Okay, so my next one I would say is, I'm going to say the city of Trapani. The city of Trapani. We did, by the way, an entire episode on the city of Trapani, and that is one of those places that has really grown on me. The downtown is beautiful. It's safe. It's clean. It's walkable. Then you've got the beach, you've got the salt flats, you've also got, you're able to take a boat to the islands. So to me, Trapani is another one of those nice ones, close to the airport. It's got good hospitals there. Trapani is one of those for me.
And the cost of living is far cheaper than Palermo. That's for sure. Okay, you can get good value over there. Whether you're going to buy or rent in the greater Trapani area. So I happen to, that's a great choice, number 3. Okay, number 4 is going to be my one of my favorite towns in all of Sicily is Sciacca. The fishing village.
I was going to do that one too.
Well, you did it, I did. The fishing village of Sciacca, because it's a beautiful drive into Sciacca, and it's a beautiful drive out of Sciacca, and you're surrounded by the oceans over there. The only drawback with Sciacca, in my view, is that there really isn't a beach per se, despite the fact that it's on the ocean. You have to drive about 15 minutes to get to a beach because that area is pretty much a fishing area. But
remember, we stayed for your birthday at one of the hotels, and I was actually able to walk down to the beach, but it's not like an organized beach where, you have lifeguards and things like that. Well, but there's access. And the other thing that I have to tell you about Sciacca, that downtown is beautiful. Of course, it's known for its ceramics. And of course, we did an entire episode on Sciacca. I'll leave you a link for that. But the other thing, and you're right, they have the fishing village, which is, I think, one of the largest in Sicily.
Well, Trapani is the largest.
Trapani is the largest, but
yes, it's ginormous.
It's ginormous.
Big. Those guys do a lot of fishing over there, and at one time it was a lot bigger than it was. Of course, right now, but it's a great town. The ambiance is terrific. But
I really like that place where we stayed at because it also had the beautiful olive trees, right? We were surrounded by olive trees,
right? That's
with a view.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the place. Can you?
I can't. But it's right outside.
Something or other.
It's right. It's a place right outside of the center of town.
So that would be Ragusa and Sciacca would be 2 of my suggestions for people who don't know Sicily. Now, of course, if you have your ancestral home.
Yeah.
I was just telling her today, really, I'd like to go up to Tricastani, live in Tricastani. That's where my ancestors are from. But we're talking about for this program. So, Ragusa and Sciacca are for me, and Esther just picked her. So you have another one to pick up. Hi, Tom.
Alessandro says.
Mondello is beautiful.
Who said that about Mondello?
Tom
yeah,
did.
if you want to be by the beach, of course. And that's something we talked about too, right, Alfred? Because in this area, a lot of the places have the lava rocks. So they built things called lido that are wooden structures that you can have access. And on the other side, right, is more of a white sand that we're accustomed to.
Well, between Catania, all the way up the coast, past Giardini Noxus, past Taormina, all the way into Messina, and then you make a left, and going down about 30 miles, it's either all rocks or pebbles or almost like gravel. Okay, there's no white, pearly, sandy beaches. Okay,
right.
So you have to wear those pebble shoes. You know, those shoes that protect your feet. If you want good beaches on the East Coast, you have to start from Syracuse down. Okay, and believe me, there's some beautiful beaches in Syracuse, huh?
Pet Galfano says hello from New York. 3 degrees. Trapani was my family.
It's a great town. It's a great town.
Okay, now I saw a question here that was really good from Pat Greeley. Are there any places you would not live? Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
The city of Palermo.
Ooh.
I love going into the city of Palermo because it is a beautiful city, but I would not want to live in a city. But again, this is one of my choices, one of my criteria. If you happen to be a person that likes the city, likes the nightlife, likes a lot of people, likes the, sort of the New York, if I may say, of Sicily, Palermo is for you. It's just not for me.
It's not paradise. Let me just say this. You can go 10 miles inland from Catania or 10 miles inland from Messina and get into the guts of Sicily a little bit, and you'll see the hardship there. So there are many, many little villages and many, many little towns that, they don't have internet, or they don't even have a school system, or they don't have,
Yeah, the kids have to go to the next.
They have to go to the next town. One place I went to way up in the Nebrodi Mountains, I'll never forget this as long as I live. They didn't have a panificio in the whole town. That's a bread maker. And the guy would come around in a truck, and he'd pull up from block to block selling his bread out of a truck. And then he would take off, and then another guy would come around with vegetables. And the old ladies would, they'd be on the second floor, and they'd send their little baskets down, right, with a rope, and he put the bread in a ton. I mean, I was looking at that stuff. I said, what is this, 1852? But there are some places that are, a little bit too backwards. And
so like one of those towns would not be a place that you would want to live in.
Right, like where Monia lived.
Outside of Jordan.
No, okay. She lived up in the Nebrodi Mountains where her grandmother lived. I can't think of something. I'll think of the name of the town in just 1 second. It's on the other side of Castiglione di Sicilia. There's Francavilla, Castiglione di Sicilia, and it's the one on top. It's one of those borgs up there. Can't think of the name.
Stephen D. Dominici says we really enjoyed Syracuse when we visited the east side.
How could you not enjoy Syracuse?
Ortigia is, by the way, one of my favorite towns.
I mean, Syracuse is a special, historic, magical, wonderful. The ambiance is great. Am I correct in saying that? Ortigia is a special area. Syracuse, the city itself.
Nah, yeah.
It's okay. It's
but
small.
Here's another thing about these cities. So, Shaka is thankfully not as touristy as places like Taormina, like Ortigia, where else? Obviously, like the city of Catania, the city of Palermo. I like to be away enough from the chaos, but close enough to be able to go if I want to, right?
Well, another criteria for somebody who likes things like nature, bike riding, going for long treks, fishing, just basically nature stuff. You've got the Nebrodi Mountains here on the East Coast, for all purposes of this conversation, Taormina. The range goes up towards Messina and then towards Palermo. It's a ginormous mountain range over there. And in that range, there's peaks and valleys and roads that go up and down like this, and there's beautiful little towns. My favorite town that has a beautiful view of the Nebrodi Mountains, the overlooking sea, etc., is this town called Castiglione di Sicilia. It's just a wonderful little town on that side. If you go over the hump and you go down on the other side to where Tindari is, and those towns on the northwest or the northeast part of Sicily, at the top part over there, You've got Brolo. Brolo has some nice beaches over there.
In the province of Messina. Very nice, yeah.
Tindari has some nice places over there. Brolo has an excellent school system for somebody who's looking for schools. We happen to know some.
Well, that's because we did it.
Yeah, it's a great area.
Project. Let me do a couple of these.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Hi, Janet. Is the gas supply mains or bottled gas? Can you drink the water? Is there a problem with the supply? Does it differ in different areas in the cost of utilities? Can I take the water?
Go ahead.
Alfred always says to me, drink that water, your bones will be calcium. What do you say?
Calcified. Yeah,
very high calcium content. So no for the water. You take the rest.
Well, the reason is that, honestly, the infrastructure, the pipes that pump up the water to the houses, they're ancient. Unless it's a new building, new construction, typically, don't drink the water. And you could tell on the shower head, your shower head gets covered with calcium. And also on your sinks, your sinks and so forth. So we buy our water. It costs €2. That's about $2.25 for 6 bottles that look like this. Six 2-liter bottles. This is Casafran. This water comes
from Etna.
From Mount Etna. And that's what we do. I mean, if we ever calculated how much we pay in water, is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Gas. Wait a minute. Let me ask the question. Gas.
Yes. So the gas.
Yeah, the gas we have. It comes in from Russia. Okay, natural gas from Russia. We have the biggest company in Europe, Enel, that's our supplier. Which, by the way, they also supply. Enel also owns a lot of electricity companies in the United States of America.
Do you know they have
there's one in Lawrence.
In Andover.
In Andover too,
right.
Yeah. Enel is a ginormous company, so they're an international company. So we have them. They're very efficient. Never had a problem with gas. Some places, however, they don't have that. So you have to go out and get the propane tanks. Okay, so you get the tanks, especially in the hinterlands, like up in Mount Etna. You've got all these little places where people just go and they grow their orchards, but they live in another area, and they have little kind of like huts, so to speak. Those places have propane, but there is propane too, and methane too is another one that they have. And there was a third question that she had. Let
me put that up again. Does it differ in different areas? No, I think you answered all of it.
Oh, the cost, even though there's it's 20% higher, the euro here, I don't pay more than $100 a month for my gas. And that includes my gas, which heats my radiators, so it's basically heat, and also the hot water heater too. So $100, come on, it's
Okay.
My bill used to be $250 in the States.
I should have been in the foothills of Shaka this November. I was invited to stay and help on an olive tree farm. Hopefully soon. I want to hear where everyone is watching from. Leave us a comment, and also if you have any questions. So now is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say something. It's one of those out of the way towns, and we discovered it because it's one of the ancestral home videos that we did, Cianciana, the province of Agrigento. I really enjoyed it.
Wait a minute.
And wait a sec.
Was that the one I was going like this with the car?
No.
Okay.
No, because then it wouldn't be on my list.
It was a nightmare drive.
Not
place.
That one.
Ugh.
No, not that one.
All right, tell me.
That one's listen, I remember the nightmare drives. Trust me.
Good
but it's
Lord.
one of the videos that we did there, and it is quiet. It's the downtown is pretty active. The people are friendly. It felt clean. It's a little bit on top of a hill. And for those of you, because there's been many people asking me or commenting on Facebook, on YouTube, well, I don't speak Italian. Am I going to be able to survive? What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. For those people that are concerned about that, there's a large community of American and British people living there, because there was some kind of a star, I can't remember his name right now, from England that did a show. He moved there. Anyway, there's a lot of people in Cianciana, and walking around and filming, I heard a lot of people. I'm like, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from?
Yeah.
So and that place is close, it's far away from the mayhem of the city. It's pristine. It's a beautiful place, right? So
I'm a little bit. I didn't make a comment when you said Palermo, okay? Because Palermo is it's a magical historical city. I mean, it's a melting pot. If people used Palermo is an example of all the different religions, for example, living side by side in peace and harmony, the world will be a lot better place.
Yeah.
That said, okay, the garbage situation in Palermo is worse than ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, it's disgraceful. Okay, and it's due to incompetence. Okay, I mean, you've got people over there that just don't care about the garbage. Okay, and there's whole areas. Okay, that if you go down the street, you're like, oh my God, I'm in the dump. I mean, literally, it's like for half a mile, you'll see garbage all over the place. I would never suggest anybody to live in Palermo unless they're from Palermo. Okay, but other than some expat coming in over there, I say, you know, go into the central area, enjoy yourself,
and then go back home outside.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't go there.
Here's Melissa Morano. Nice to see you here. I'm currently in Hudson Valley, New
Tammany and Messe. We love that.
I just bought a place in Tammany in
You're gonna love it there, yeah.
Beautiful and not touristy.
Right.
Nice to see you here. Ornella, ciao Ornella. Good evening, watching from Palermo.
Shh, I didn't say anything. I love Palermo.
See, listen, Ornella, I want to know, are you in the center of the city? Do you agree with some of the things we have been saying, or are you sort of in the outskirts like Bagheria and so forth? We've got Fred McNeil here from
hi, Fred.
Scotland. Lots of people here. Have you ever been to Vicini? I want to visit. Or
you're the second person in 2 days.
Wait, let me finish. My grandfather is from there. No, we have not.
I've been there. I've been searching my databanks for this Vicini. After the program, I'm going to go look that place up because I know I've been there. My grandfather is from there.
I apologize if I miss any of your comments or questions.
Husband is from
Linda Denoto. Husband is from Cianciano. How cool is that?
Wow.
Okay.
So pick some more places.
Luca, for me, just figuring out how to say hello. I'm Diana from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Diana.
Really looking forward to a nice long visit to Sicily. Luca is my home. Time to enjoy another area. So many. Yeah, hold on. Let me just also say that there are so many places to come to Sicily, and we've done these chats now for a few weeks where we talk about moving, the pros and cons. That was our chat last week, the pros and cons. But one of our biggest advice always is come here at multiple times of the year, not just one season, maybe pick 2 seasons, feel it out, go to a few places, and get a feel for what you prefer. We prefer the East Coast. Some people prefer the West or the South, right?
You know what it is too, Esther, and I agree with you, what she says, but if you just come in here blind, okay, and you've fallen in love with Sicily because you went on a group tour, and then you have what they call the stingal effect. That was, somebody goes on a tour and then he goes home, and then the next thing you know, he packs his clothes and he wants to come back, but he really knows nothing about the culture in the island. What you need to do is kind of put the brakes on a little bit and have a good dose to reality. There are a lot of practical considerations, okay, to move in here, because this is a foreign country, okay? The amenities and the comforts of home, they're not like in Sicily, even though we kind of like, quote unquote, think that it's okay. America blows away Sicily and a whole variety of delivery of services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Expect to wait in lines. Expect things to not go according to what you expect, right?
If you think the post office is bad in the United States of America, you don't know what it's like for the post office over here, because the post office over here also is the same building, the same thing as the bank. So you could always tell where the post office is, because that's the one where literally people are waiting, outside in line, pre-COVID and now COVID. Okay, so
always a line.
Always a line. Always a line.
Lydia, it's if you haven't been there, you have to go to Piazza Armanina. Agree. The beautiful, beautiful Villa Romana is there, and Enna, it's a beautiful little town. Hey, Lydia, we did a chat with a local guide from Enna, and she spoke about all the beautiful places there, right?
They're doing some more work at Piazza Armanina. Aren't they at the Villa Romana?
They're always doing some kind of excavation. They're doing something. What a great place.
Yeah.
You mentioned water calcification. What areas of Sicily have it? What about water softener tanks? Yeah, people do that. Yeah.
A lot of people do that. They have these expensive devices, several €100 that
most of our friends have that.
You can put on your incoming pipe to do that, but then you have to change the filter. I didn't want to take any chances about that. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but you know, there's a lot of water that's just not drinkable. Okay, it's okay for the bathroom, but when I came here, I made a principled decision. Nah, I'll go for the extra $10 a week, and I'll get bottled water. And we're very careful. Although a lot of these places, like especially around Etna, think of Stagni, Padada, Via Grande.
That's right.
You go with empty bottles, and they have free water.
That's right.
On these beautiful free things, right? These free areas over there. The water is from Etna.
And a lot of the
tastes awesome.
A lot of the fountains too. Remember the one in Architrezza? There's a water fountain right there. We used to take our bottles and fill it up over there.
I actually did that a bunch of times until I got tired of lugging the water.
Now I lug the water.
So now she does.
All right. Helen wants to know what winter is like on east side of Sicily. So usually, I would say it doesn't get to zero very often, especially, of course, on Etna. I mean, Etna right now, she's covered in white. There's snow. During the days, 50s, I'm wearing a sweater right now. It's 4:30 in the afternoon.
Sun's
very
down,
comfortable. The sun's down. And what would you say? It's about 45, 50 degrees right now.
January is the worst month.
Yeah.
February, now we're kind of looking forward to February because the last 2 weeks of February is really like, I guess you could say the beginning of spring. So all of a sudden you'll have a pop, 65 or 70, even in February, okay?
Yeah.
And then by the time March comes, I mean, basically, we're into a good spring. Okay?
Carnevale, which is,
for Easter.
Fat Tuesday. I remember by then my jacket is off.
So the weather is good. This weather
of course,
here, though,
again, of course not in the Nebrodi, the Madonia, and of course Etna.
The thing is, I'm a what is it called? Osteoarthritis sufferer. I have arthritis in my shoulders. I have it in my hands. I have it in my knees. And this cold here is about 20 degrees colder than it is in the States. I mean, there's no insulation.
We also have the ocean. Right, the sea effect.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just colder because the what do you call it? The houses are colder. So I never wore layers in the States. I used to, even up until a few years ago, I'd throw on a sweater and a T-shirt and boom, I'm off to the races. I mean, I wear layers. Even when I go for my walks in the morning over here on my deck, I can put my gloves on.
Yeah, but by next month, by next month it will be off.
Thank God.
Pac really says you haven't mentioned Cefalù. Well, I sort of kept Cefalù out because those are the big touristy places.
Yeah.
Taormina, Cefalù. Of course, I'd love to live there. But again, that's one of those places that gets really crowded in spring, in summer, and fall. So whether you want to be near that or not.
The closest that I would get to Palermo would be maybe Bagheria or Termini or one of those towns over there, which are very beautiful towns. And what was that little town that we did right between Bagheria? We had to do a video. I can't think of the name of it.
Ed Mice says, are you saying you have to go to the post office to get your mail? No. No, but if you want to go and mail something or pick up something or a package, yes.
No, we have a mailbox over here, but if it doesn't fit in the mailbox, you have to go to the post office. So what do? I have all my mail delivered to my law partner's his office. So if it's something big, it goes over there. Like say for my kids want to ship me something or whatever.
Yeah. Ornella, not near Bagheria. I'm from Palermo. However, I live in the suburbs, not that far from the highway. I agree the garbage situation is unbearable. No question.
It's just terrible, Ornella. I don't understand it.
Hi, Ren. Nice to see you.
Ren.
One way we had a storm in Cefalù. Sometimes
Tropical
the weather
storm
in Cefalù. I mean, it's just like in the States. Sometimes you have unexpected storms,
when
right?
she means a tropical storm, does she mean rain? You mean rain, right? You don't mean snow.
I don't know.
Snow?
I don't know. Let me see. Vincenza.
Modica is an
to go
awesome
as soon
town.
as things get. I think I'm going to live in Modica. Modica is very
nice.
There's
two different areas. There's a high part and there's a low part.
And the alta.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a very Baroque town. It's a lovely town, boy. I'll tell you. And Nolto.
Breathtaking Baroque.
Nolto is another good place to live. The thing that I don't like about Nolto is that it's just like a permanent hill. You have to be a pot billy goat even to walk up and down the main thoroughfare there. It's, vertical. So one way it's great, the other way it's not so great. Some people, that's a big consideration. They want flat stuff to walk on, like me. Okay, so that's a big consideration. Okay, I have to go way up there. How many steps do I have to climb? These are the questions that I ask now. With a bum knee, these are the type of questions I have. But if you're healthy, and it's a great place, Noto, Modica, and it's much more than just chocolate as well.
That's right. That's right.
People think it's chocolate. It's not just chocolate.
But
it's a great historic town.
They do make great chocolate.
Yeah.
Pat Clemens says, my grandparents were from Bulgaria and Santa Flap. The Bulgaria, by the way, is one of our upcoming episodes. Not this one, but it's coming up soon.
Which one are we doing this week? Next week?
Well, Malili
in
the province of, Malili was a nice little town, and not
where's that?
In the province of Syracuse.
Oh yeah, okay. And when are we going to do?
That's going to be published this week.
No, the next one, which for Joe.
Joe. Oh, that's the one we can't remember the name of, right? It begins. It's right outside of Bulgaria.
Oh no, Aspra or something.
Aspra. But Malili, that's another one of those cute little towns. Fortunately, it's near the industrial zone of Syracuse, between Syracuse and Augusta, and it's far enough, but not far enough from the industrial zone.
Can I tell a 2-minute story? Yeah. Okay. And you know who's going to appreciate this story is my pal Anthony Campanella.
I don't know if he's on here.
I don't know if he's on, but anyways, it's for Anthony. Okay, Anthony, he's an expat from Everett, Matt. He moved here. We just had him on a few weeks ago. He's a great guy, retired Marine, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the reasons that I took my first place in Archie San Filippo, which is not too far away, is because they had a huge yard. Okay, and the first thing that I did, and I always wanted to do this, was I went out and I planted 3 trees. I planted an olive tree, a fig tree, and a lemon tree. And it was August. And I remember digging the holes and picking up the earth and smelling the earth. And it was a very emotional thing for me because as I was doing all that stuff, I was thinking about my 2 grandfathers, Alfio Zappola and Gaetano Teresi. And I kept on saying to myself, did those guys do this? Did they do this? And that was a very moving thing for me to have those trees, those 3 little. They weren't little trees; they were about 2 or 3 feet high. Watch them grow, etc. And then the other thing too is walking in your ancestral town.
Yeah,
I tell her all the time when I'm in Tricastani, Esther, I could hear the voices of my ancestors.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, you can hear them. If you're connected through DNA to Sicily in any way, shape, or form, and you go back to your town, the town where your DNA started from, I swear to God, okay, something different happens to you, something emotional happens to you, or it happened to me anyways. And it happened to my kids when they came here too.
Yeah, I love that story. What's Mama Cooking says, can you live in Trapani or the surrounding areas without a car? There are certain places, they're called frazioni, right? So it's right outside of the city. So we live in the frazioni of Acicastello, a little subsection, or suburb, I should say. And there are places like that you can live without a car. Downtown Trapani, by the way, you don't need a car. You can live right downtown and all the stores are around you, right? Not just supermarkets and things like that, but also clothing shops and all types of shops, all within, I would say, a 1 mile circumference.
Not only that, before you select a place, that's one of the questions you have to ask. Is this acceptable? Is this accessible for the public transit? Okay, the buses. Yeah. Now, generally speaking, the buses are pretty good. But if you're saying to me, do I need a car to go to Conad to shop my weekly shopping? Well, that depends, okay? Because they're not like every block a major shopping
And for
area.
those who don't know, Conad is one of the supermarkets here.
Yes, one of the big supermarkets. Yeah, one of the supermarkets here. So, the answer is like in Catania, you don't need a car. Or Palermo, you don't need a car. But to get from one point of Catania to another point of Catania is a big city. It's like any big city. So you're going to have to, either public walk or taxi or public transportation.
Which is available.
But in the smaller areas, no. Make a long story short.
Ed Mice, my family is from Raccamuto, province of Agrigento. Yeah. Thankfully, I understand and speak the dialect.
Good for you. Yeah. Good for you.
Jim, you asked to remind you about the episode on the 10 most famous artworks in Sicily. We have to do one of those.
At some point in time, we're going to do that, Jim. That's a good point.
That Jim.
Okay, wait a minute. We have a couple more to go through here, don't we?
Jim is full of good ideas always, as are many of our friends. I did hear those voices when I walked in Militello.
Thanks, Pat. So you understand what I'm saying. That's good. The more you come back, the more the voices you're going to hear, believe it or not. And you get my grandparents, my grandmother especially, her maiden name was Ganji. I'm very much connected to her because I actually sat in her bed. Okay, when she moved to the States, another family, their friends, bought the place, and they kept all the furniture there. Even when I took my mom there for her 80th birthday, it was still same furniture. So my mom got to sit on her mother's bed. Imagine how that must feel. An 80-year-old woman sitting on the bed of her mother who had passed 3 decades previously. So yeah, there's a tremendous connection. That's what I'm going to say.
Maria says, I agree, Al. You feel the connection to your ancestor. It's so special. I can't wait to return. Thomas Catone says, when I visited Baucina, I got to see the baptismal font that my dad was baptized.
Right. Wow. Very emotional.
You know, I think
I agree with you, Tom. I would feel the same way.
I've told you this before. You know, there was something for me coming here as a Hungarian born. I felt connected to the earth. I felt connected to this island in an incredible way. And I think I've told you many times that I feel like I talk to my grandparents more than I ever have before. And maybe it's because it's quieter and I'm more connected spiritually. But there is something about the island of Sicily, whether you're Sicilian or not, it got into my bloodstream.
Let me say something, okay? Roughly 50% of the early immigrants from Italy, Sicily to here, 50% ended up going back to Sicily. So if 2 million came, 1 million went back. Okay. For those Sicilian families that stayed, you could further divide that group into 2. Those who wanted to maintain the Sicilian cultures in their house, and those who wanted to adopt and kind of put it in the rearview mirror, the Sicilian culture, and adopted the new homeland. You had two different types of families, and I know plenty of families growing up in Lawrence where they were not allowed to. The kids were not allowed to. They could only speak English in the house, not Sicilian. And then on the other side of the story, like my house, you know, they spoke Sicilian. So to keep the traditions alive. So sometimes on our group tours too, we have people who have come over here and they say, I wish my mother and I wish my father or my grandmother and my grandfather would have told me about this or would have taught me some words or this or that, because he never, you know, he says, America is your home. We have to learn about it.
Did your grandparents ever learn the language?
English? My grandparents, my grandfather, Alfio, God rest his soul, he was 82 years old. The guy couldn't speak 3 consecutive English words. No way. No. And same thing with my mother. I mean, my grandmother. No, couldn't. And same thing with my other grandfather. No, they operated in a community where they're all their friends, their business associates, you know, were from the old country, and that's what they stuck to, you know. And they felt there was an institutional lack of confidence. Okay, when you don't speak a language and you go to a foreign country, people say, you know, what's wrong with that person? Okay, it's kind of like and you know, basically you're a stranger in a strange land.
Do you feel that way here?
Yes. I'm gonna look at. I'm more Sicilian than a lot of these people over here. Okay, I go back. I stopped counting at the year 1705 in Trecastani. That's pretty far back, right?
I don't want to say this, but you definitely are old school.
Yeah, and I'm old school. Okay, but there's some idiot people here who say, yeah, but you're American. I say no. I was from the Disportia. I went over there because my grandmother and my grandfather, great-grandmother and grandfather, they were buried in a trench in the influenza outbreak of 1908, and they got sent to America. So I spit in their eye. I mean, literally, I don't spit in their eye, but verbally, I spit in their eye. And when you come here, you need to stand your ground with some of these people. There's a little bit of, oh, you're a stranieri. That means a foreigner, or Americano, or Americano. They can call you whatever you want.
Listen, we talked about this last week, okay? So when you first come here, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of mistrust. That's a Sicilian way, right? Look at you in different ways, but you earned their trust. You learn the language, you frequent places, you show kindness, and they reciprocate, right? As in any country, any city, it happens. So that's my opinion on that. Maybe down in the city, inside the city, or even the small towns, Cianciana, they were so friendly, Alfred. That is more, I believe, in a city type of thing. Those little rural towns, they're super friendly, super happy to see.
I agree with you.
Mezzogiusto, by the way, the episode that we did before, Mezzogiusto in the province of Palermo, the people there were so nice. We did the video 1 or 2 days after they came out of the red zone, and the police officers were still out there. And of course, I went over there and started talking to the police officers, and they said, "What are you doing here?" And I explained, there's some Americans that from Mezzogiusto, and they want to see their town, and I'm here to do a video. And they just surrounded me immediately, and I showed them our Facebook page, and they were so interested, and they were so happy that Americans, and they were so happy that Americans were interested in their little town of Mezzogiusto, and they started pointing me, you have to go to the mother church, that you have to go down there, the sanctuary. And that is my experience with most Sicilians.
I have no comment that can help you in that department.
Al, I'm not looking for help. Why do you always think people flirt? It's nothing about that.
God,
Stop
if they're
it.
a man, they flirt. End of sentence. If they're a Sicilian man.
Are you enjoying this conversation?
If they're a Sicilian man.
Stop. There were females there.
From 8 to 80.
Excuse me. There were female officers there as well, and they were super helpful. Stop it.
No comment, Esther, okay? Wait, Ed had a good comment.
Ed, wait a sec. I'm missing all these. Sorry,
You're
I'm missing
right,
you guys.
I like it when people say I'm right.
It's that a lot of my cousins can't understand or speak. I've always felt connected to the Sicilian culture and language, and call myself an old soul. Good.
That's good. That's why you should
Jim
stay.
says it's good to be an old soul. Good.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. I hope you feel
everyone is agreeing with you. Okay.
You see,
but wait a second. Right. But wait a second. I still stand by my point that people here are the nicest, most accommodating, most generous people I've met in a long time. And there are those whistleblowers, those guys that whistle at you in Palermo and Catania, but that happens in every city. Excuse me, that happens in New York, that happens in Boston. Those type of people are everywhere. That's all I have to say.
I'm gonna tell you what I told my son, okay? Now in this environment. Okay, save your money. Save your money. If you want to come here on a vacation, that's where you spend your money. Okay, I think there's going to be a pent-up demand. Once they open up the borders over here, there's going to be a flock of people coming in here. I think it's going to happen this year, towards the end of this year. Myself, Esther doesn't make a prediction, but that's how I.
Yeah, I'm out of the business of predictions.
But I think that you need to have cash money in the bank when you come here. You can't come here, I swear to God, in the hopes of trying to, quote unquote, find a job. There aren't any jobs, okay? We're getting request after request after request for our Sicilian project from communities who are busted broke and want us to give them money. This week, Giovanni Lanza is sending out, I think, 1,500, right? Mm-hmm. 1,500 euro this week alone. As fast as we're collecting it with the Sicilian project, we're getting it out. There are families that are just, they have no money. It's not like in the United States where we have a safety net. There's no such thing as a stimulus check. There's no checks. It's not going to happen.
Sean Lewis says, I got that when I visited. This is a very important topic when I was visiting in the 90s, and they called me an American, and my family's from Italy. Of course, that will happen when you first come. It happened to me, but then after the first year, it stopped. I mean, it happened. You're an American. You're coming here, and your family is from here, but you're going to be an American to them until you earn their trust.
That's good, Tom.
You set roots here, and that means making friends. So it does happen.
Tom says he's retired. He's dead. The hell with it. That's a good. I work. Okay, I'm retired in the United States from being a law professor, but I still practice law here. We do it for chump change. I mean, it's not that I'm going to get rich at it over here, but I like to help people. Massimo likes to help people. We have the Sicilian project. That's like non-paid volunteer work, but we both like to do that.
Yeah, I love to do that.
I think you have to. I kind of think you have to stay busy as you get into the late 60s, 70s. You want to stay busy. So we found our niche. We like talking to people like you. She loves it.
We love coming to you.
She likes to prepare doing these videos. You wouldn't believe the tremendous amount of time that she spends putting together one video. If I tell you 30 hours for an 8-minute video that she charges, what do you charge? $800 for.
Well,
sometimes when I want her attention, I pay her $800.
Janet says, is it better for anyone to consider staying for a few months?
Yes.
Would be better staying in Airbnb, which is probably cheaper than a hotel. A rental would be a minimum term, say 6 months.
Yes, Airbnbs are great.
Well, first of all, we've had some good reports and bad reports, right? So we don't have many B&Bs, but also the agroturismo. I would suggest that people go to an agroturismo where, you have some kind of activity that you can do there. There's probably on a farm. They do cooking. They have wine there, and you sort of live there.
That's
you
what
can stay there.
That's holidaying. If she's talking about coming over here, some people don't like to do that stuff.
Right.
Some people like to get in their car and just zip out of town. They want to go horseback riding,
or some people just want to go
riding.
From the house to the beach. Depends what your preference
You don't need to have all that stuff if you don't want. I mean.
Ornella, I think it's a matter of being called a foreigner, or maybe people dismissing you is just so many people simply claim to be Italian because you have a great who was an Italian.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, even if you have a great grandmother, you're still a part Italian. Maybe you're 1/15 Italian, but you're not an Italian.
I think Sean is actually from Alia, is his grandparents. And Sean, let me clarify that.
In my case, I'm a blue blood. I'm pure. Okay, so I have every right to call myself call myself whatever I want in any case, but I'm Sicilian.
Ornella says, but you actually don't have any interest. Most people that we encounter or we bring here, or our friends, our family, or the tours, 99% of the people have Sicilian blood and are here because they want to reconnect with them.
Ornella, the first time I came here was in 1997, and I went to a small town for a festival. And the guy asked me, the parish priest asked me who I was. I told him where I lived. And he asked me if I knew such and such a person. I says, yeah, that was my uncle. And he asked me if he knows somebody else, such and such a person. I says, yeah, that's my uncle's best friend. Why? And he pointed to the steeple, the church and the steeple. He says, see the bell over there? They came here 10 years ago. The bell was broken. They paid for the repair of the bell. So there's many generous Americans that come over here and they get the little tug on the heart, and then they're off to the races with that. So that's how it goes. I guess it's personal.
B and Don says, when we spent a week in Taormina, the servers of a couple of restaurants were so thrilled my Italian was with a Sicilian dialect, and when we were leaving, they loved that, right? I love that too. CGOV, yes. We're both from Boston, outside of Boston, Lawrence and Andover.
How could you tell? Is it my accent?
I don't know. I would spend my time in local churches or town halls. We set Hong Kong ancestors. Okay, hold it. Let's
this little baby up here.
Thomas Catone, I'm 100% also Al, but only 50% Sicilian. My dad married a Napolitano.
Hey, wait a minute. Naples was part of the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. Did you know that? It was. And that's why the Neapolitans and the Sicilians have a little bit of resentment for one another.
Yeah,
because the capital got moved from the emperor. The emperor from Palermo to Naples, and then it became the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, which then it broke up. But there was always a little bit of resistance. But nowadays, they're our brothers.
Let me just say, Ornella, first of all, that we love having you on here. We love your opinion, especially you're from Palermo. So we love having you here. Don't worry about, I totally understand what you mean. But always great to see you here. Okay, a couple more.
Thank you for coming, Ornella. We appreciate
everyone, and you
it.
know what? I want to say thank you before I take Sean's. Thank you for everyone for coming on these chats. We really love spending this, 45, now it's about 55 minutes or an hour with you.
Today,
We've got a lot to talk about. Lots of questions. Wait a second. Let me do Sean's. I was born in America, but my grandparents. Okay, I got that right, Sean. I also fall in the category where our parents didn't speak Sicilian much. I feel like we have lost our traditions and culture because of that.
Come on down then, Sean.
Come on down.
I want to say something.
Go for it.
Okay.
No, you can't.
Listen. For those of you who don't know us, we have a Facebook page, as you know. We have a website.
www.youmeandsicily.com.
We do tours.
We have videos.
We do private work.
We do consulting.
I'm an attorney and I do all sorts of legal stuff.
I'm a journalist and I work on videos.
But mostly we do stuff for free, okay, for you people like you, okay? So you can help us out by going to the top if you want and clicking on that button that says GoFundMe and throw in a few bucks so we can get better equipment, have better broadcast capabilities, and expand our programming much more than we're doing. So that's what my saying is.
On that note, thank you so much for watching this
Joe,
live.
Jim.
And everyone, what are you going to call it, everyone?
I love you all. I appreciate you watching the programming. Peter, especially Peter. Peace. Ciao.
Ciao.